Welcome back to another episode of Wilderness Insights 24, organized by the Wilderness and Wildlife Protection Society of Royal College. Today, we have with us Dr. Punchihewa, expert in the field of pollination and environmental conservation. Sir, if you could introduce yourself to our audience.
Yes, I've been working on this issue of pollination and honeybees and pollinator conservation throughout my life. And I think that's in short.
Yes.
And that's a long life. And today I'm 75 years, and of that 75 years, at least 50 years or more I spent on that.
Yes.
And I started my interest in this as an undergraduate.
I see,
Yeah.
sir.
So that's important. So I carried on.
So I believe you were also the chairman of...
Yeah, I'm the chairman of the pollinator conservation action group of the Environment Ministry.
Yes, sir.
And there's a kind of a group of experts, sort of a,
Definitely,
I
sir.
act as the chairman, that's all. I mean, that's a state-sponsored thing, and
Definitely,
we
sir.
help or advise the state with regard to, especially with regard to the pollinator conservation.
I see.
And pollinator utilization. It's not only conservation. Conservation, especially in a very populous country like ours, conservation cannot have its conservation sake.
Yes, sir. But I believe, sir, I think utilizing
Is as
is also a
important.
form
Yeah.
of conservation.
Conservation, yeah.
Yes. Sir, today's pollinators, sir. What do you think the main threats are for the pollinators in Sri Lanka right now?
Number one is the population explosion.
Okay.
Because if you look at the demography or the population density of countries, we are one of the very highly populous countries.
Definitely, sir.
In fact, if you divide the population by land area, we are more populous than even India.
Really, sir.
I think only very few countries have a higher population than us, perhaps Bangladesh, maybe Holland.
Okay, sir.
So we have to be very concerned with whatever we do, because our natural resources are dwindling very fast.
Definitely, sir.
Natural resource doesn't mean only the trees and the whatnot. So for a tree to be living, there are so many other factors, especially little creatures that we don't see properly.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and also one of the problems with pollinator conservation, the pollinators are normally very small animals.
Yes, sir.
Pollinator. I mean, most of the pollinators that we know or we think are bees and small insects.
Yes, sir.
But you don't see them working
Yes, true, sir.
unless you really make a special attempt to see what's happening. But without pollination, our fruit yields are going to be hampered. And
Definitely, sir.
and there are many other of course, the greenery of this country needs its pollinators.
Yes, sir.
And as you know, we are a highly biodiversity hotspot,
Yes, sir.
which we have one of the highest number of species on earth.
Yes, sir.
This country has more than 4,000 species of plants. Of course, some are exotics, but they have got naturalized.
Yes, sir.
But so now they have become part of the biodiversity. And for that, they need, of course, the pollinators from the aerial environment, from the soil, various other soil-forming invertebrates,
Yes, sir.
which includes bacteria up to insects and earthworms. So we had to strike that. We had to be concerned with everything what we do, and as you know, we humans are the biggest threat to the
Yes.
environment. Of course, that's a
Unfortunately.
human activity, but human has to live too.
Yes.
So we have to strike a balance and be concerned, whatever the little things we do, that it will not harm the environment and the little creatures that are supporting our life
Yes, sir.
in a way.
Now, because of these threats, sir, there is a steady decline in the populations of pollinators in Sri Lanka, right?
Yeah.
How would you say this decline in the population of pollinators impact the biodiversity and the food security of other animals, as well as the biodiversity of Sri Lanka as a whole?
Yeah, now, to begin with, without pollination, many other species other than the wind pollinated species won't survive.
Yes, sir.
And from the Royal College itself,
Definitely.
you know, I remember from my school days, that was in 1960s.
Yes, sir.
You had Bambara colonies hanging on the race course as well as on the Royal College upper floor from the eaves of the roof.
Yes, sir.
And I know at that time, nasty boys who wants to get a day off when they disturb the Bambara colony. Otherwise, Bambara don't attack. Now I can show you pictures right in the university here.
Yes, sir.
In the science block, there are enough of Bambara colonies.
Yes, sir.
And I was consulted. I said, don't do anything, just leave them alone.
Definitely.
Nothing happened. And of course, this kind of thing, but especially they come to the Colombo urban area because there are so many good trees that we are growing.
Yes.
And the Feltoporum, the Kahamara
Yes.
on the road, as well as the Mara tree, the Samania trees.
Yes.
They all need pollinators. People don't realize it. And even the Simala tree right behind us. And all these need pollinators. There's the mango tree in front of us. All this need, but those pollinators may be working in the night. Some are very small, even among bees. So unless you really look for them, that's one of the reasons why pollinators get neglected all the time.
Definitely.
So, but even pollinator conservation was some subject that was forced on us. Because if you go to the Rio conference, there was I don't remember, there was an agreement of the parties, so-called they call it COP.
Yes, sir.
COP, all the parties who the signatory to the Rio Convention.
Yes, sir.
They found the scientists were ready for that and found pollinator conservation one of the major issues.
Yes.
So really it was forced on us by others, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
We never realized it.
Yeah.
But these are the countries that really need pollinator conservation because we are in the hotbed of biodiversity.
Definitely, sir.
And the trees, the insects, whatever, we have large number. Now see, you can see a squirrel, the crow and all that.
Yes.
If you go to some other environment, you hardly see anything.
They definitely.
So anyway, we are not too late yet.
Yes, sir.
So I think especially, that's why I agreed to come here. Young boys like you,
Yes, sir.
you are the future. If now itself you get a good idea about it, and because you are this is your country, not our country. As I said, we are a fading off generation, and it's your future, your country, and if you have a very good idea or good idea about it, and
Yes, sir.
read, understand, and also I'm a little bit disappointed. These environmental conferences, especially if we are taking it to the public, should be in the local language.
Definitely, sir.
Because they are the protectors of the environment. They are the protectors because if they don't understand this, there's no point. This becomes only an academic exercise, right? Like reading books.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is something we'll have to work on.
Yeah, work on. I'll help you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Can.
Very much, sir.
Yeah.
But moving back, sir. So you would say that pollinators, when you come to think of it, are actually like unsung heroes who work
Oh yes, exactly. Yeah.
day and night
You've got the right
to-
word. You've
yes,
got the right word. Very perfect word.
to make sure that our biodiversity stays. Yes.
Stays alive,
Alive.
and vibrant and well. Because biodiversity means a lot to this country.
Definitely, sir.
Now, I can give a deeper explanation, but just on the surface, we are a small island.
Yes.
We are equatorial, tropical,
Yes.
evergreen island. So, as you said, I have no expertise or any idea about our oceans and the biodiversity there.
Yes, sir.
But at least I'm essentially a terrestrial man. So, but both are equally important.
Definitely,
The,
sir.
the culture of this country, the living culture of this country that developed for 3,000 years or more,
Yes, sir.
based on the foundation is our biodiversity. Now, one of the things is our food security,
Yes, sir.
our medical system, indigenous medical system. They are all part of the utilization of biodiversity.
Definitely, sir.
And I take you example. I told you this morning I was busy. I told you your friend.
Yes, sir.
I went to a Vedamahatya,
Okay, sir.
a single Vedamahatya. I have a problem with my eye. The doctors, the Western doctors couldn't resolve the problem.
Okay, sir.
So for 18 months they couldn't resolve the problem. So finally I had to go to a single Mahatma. And he's treating me with very simple plants that you see the garden.
Ah, really,
So I'm
sir?
getting treatment. Yes, he's not living very far. He's in the hinterland of Pandadura. Not very. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, still these are. I mean, I remember as a boy. I would have been about 11 years. I fell from a tree
Really?
and broke my arm, the shoulder. That's a serious accident for a little boy.
Definitely.
And my father wanted to take to the hospital. My grandmother is a traditional village woman. I mean, she demanded father and ordered father never take to the hospital, take to the Mahatya. I was treated. All is simple medicine.
Yes, sir.
And so I mean, there's a lot in the biodiversity.
Definitely,
I mean, I mean, whatever we eat, and so a country like ours, as long as we protect the biodiversity, will not go hungry.
Yes, sir.
I mean, this country is hard to starve to death. No, it will never happen. I mean, there's
that's
something. So anyway, just
I mean, even if you look around some mango trees, we have
drag
food all
around.
around us.
So coming back to my own specialty,
Yes,
and I have my interest in pollination, especially the bees and on the earthworms,
Ah, okay, sir.
because they keep the fertile. I mean, that's a earthworm. We can consider the top of the food chain in the soil,
Yes, that's true.
and in the aerial environment, the bees are the ones that keep the system going.
Definitely,
So if
sir.
you protect, conserve, and utilize these animals, that will be only for our long-term survival and common good.
Definitely, sir.
Yeah. So the royalists should do that.
Yes, sir, definitely.
You can get together with your science teachers or whoever.
Definitely. Sir, yes, sir. Sir, earlier you were speaking about the Bambara population as well.
Yeah.
Other than that also, could you please explain to us which other pollinators
Yeah.
are most vulnerable to these environmental crises and human activities as well?
All. There is no single one.
Okay,
But
sir.
Bambara is one of the key things, because when we destroy the environment, we destroy their nesting sites.
Okay, sir.
They need a site to nest,
Definitely.
and that's one of the things. And of course, that's I should be blamed, because as I told you, I worked for some 20 odd years for the agriculture department, and of course I was not in these so-called the agrochemical side, but the most of these new chemicals are destroying a lot of life. But somehow scientists world over has taken action,
Definitely.
and now there are better chemicals, but still that's doing a lot of harm. So the farmers has to be educated. But if the farmers to be educated, you should speak their language.
Yeah. That's,
So, anyway, that's a minor point, but important point.
yes.
So
Yes. I mean, not just human activities. I mean, I'm pretty sure, sir, climate change also plays a role in influencing the patterns of pollinators and pollination behavior.
yeah,
Especially because with climate change, especially the rainy season and the dry season,
Yeah.
pollinators tend to switch their behavioral patterns.
Yeah.
Could you please explain to us what they are and, elaborate on that?
now, my son,
Yes, sir.
there is very little we can do to climate change, because
Definitely, yeah.
we are a very politically and economically not very powerful, but little island. So the climate change, now see, today news I was watching, for the last 10 years, 16 million people in India has died of air pollution. So that means for 10 years, for a decade. So every year, 1.6 million people die of air pollution.
Yes.
I mean, that's a good example. That's our next door.
Yeah.
So obviously, good part of it must be coming here. And they were talking about air pollution in Jaffna. I don't know the real facts, but that was in today's news. The news is something that I watch
Yes.
very gently. So, so obviously, the human activities. I mean, when you drive a car or do whatever we do, we made an impact on the nature.
Definitely.
And so nature means living nature, creatures, whether plants or animals. So therefore,
Now-
but it's very sad, we have a philosophy, or we call it religion, where we are supposed not, even to walk on earth,
Yes, sir.
we are supposed to be concerned with it.
Definitely, sir.
And be concerned with it. And so, whatever you do, please, I mean, even if you throw a toffee paper,
Yes, sir.
be concerned that it's not harming, and try to, yeah, we have to do small things. I mean, our levels, individually, if we individually do the right thing for ourselves and the others, I think the whole country will be a better
Yes,
place. Yes,
definitely.
it's not difficult to make this place better, and because we are very educated, all of us can read and write.
Yes, sir.
People understand. Only thing is, we have to follow the law and order.
Yeah,
So your young generation has a big challenge.
definitely.
Yeah.
Sir, you said that you worked at the Ministry of Agriculture
Yeah.
earlier.
Not Minister, Department of Agriculture.
Department.
Yeah.
My apologies. Sir, how would you say that the modern agricultural practices like monoculture and use of pesticides
Yeah.
affect this pollinator crisis? Sri Lanka.
Our monocultures, of course, we have like a tea, rubber, coconut, and they are monocultures.
Yes, sir.
But they are not monocultures the way that monocultures in other large land masses like America or Europe.
Yes, sir.
Even Europe, it is rather small. So, I mean, our, especially our, let's say the major pollinator, Bambara, intermingle with them nicely.
Yes, sir.
And because just now, not, but for some time ago, I mean, when I was your age,
Yes, sir.
the whole country was dependent on
Yes.
three trees: the tea, the rubber, and the coconut, and of course rice as for food. In fact, that time we were not even self-sufficient in rice,
Ah, really?
and that's the time that they just started Mahavali
Ah.
in late 60s.
Yes.
They were starting, and of course we were trying to. I mean, from the times of our old kings, we've been trying to impound water in reservoirs and
Yes, definitely, sir.
things like that. Anyway, that impacts,
Yes, sir.
but we have to make the impact least. I mean, whatever the human activity, we are impacting the. I mean, unless you are a person, forest dwellers, you are impacted because forest dwellers. I mean, I don't know what's the land to man ratio. A forest dweller might need about 5 hectares to live.
Yes, sir.
So, but that's a luxury. That's a luxury. You can't have so much.
Definitely,
And if you make a calculation, I made the very calculation. Individual in this country can take the whole land area, which includes the reservoirs and everything. If you divide, I mean, you can do the simple calculation. If you divide the land area by the number of people,
Yeah, you can.
one person can only have 30 or 32 square meters.
Really?
Just imagine, I mean, here itself we can see more than
so
that. So
many.
that's the luxury. So you have to be,
Definitely,
yeah. So therefore, whatever you do, think about, I mean, pollinator conservation and pollinators are one important point, because some of the most important pollinators give us a very important food, the honey. You may not believe it. Even for my eye, the Vedamahatya are using honey.
Ah, I see.
When I fell from the tree so many years ago, more than 50 years ago,
Yes, sir.
about 60 years ago really,
Ah, okay, sir.
that the patua they call it, the paste, the medicinal paste,
Yes,
it
sir.
was mixed in honey.
Yes, sir.
So that's part of biodiversity, and one of the most important and manageable pollinators, the honeybees.
Definitely.
And so we are in the game of biodiversity utilization. So just keep that in mind, and when you go home, just think about it.
Definitely, sir. So yes, definitely, because we've been using especially honey and the like. We've been utilizing it since the
Yeah,
ancient
not
times.
only honey. I mean, we use so
Yes,
many
definitely.
plants as medicinal plants and
Definitely.
food plants.
Definitely, sir.
Yeah.
But
And
sir,
these are all documented.
yes, sir, that's true. But sir, again, how do pesticides in turn affect the pollinator populations in Sri Lanka, and how does it contribute or affect the pollinator crisis in Sri Lanka?
It is like this.
Yes, sir.
Usually, if you are using the pesticide properly, the pesticide companies, the regulations, never ever advise you to spray at the time of flowering.
Ah, okay, sir.
But it is farmers' responsibility. Now there was the time, the collective crop calendar
Yes, sir.
in a tract of farms, in a area of farming, they act collectively.
Okay, sir.
So that's a very good way. But if you do staggered, like one fellow will do today and another fellow will do a few weeks later, that can affect because the pesticide can always drift.
Okay, sir.
They can get carried by the wind. And also now there are pesticides where the toxicity level is much less.
Yes,
But
sir.
still, if these pesticides can come back in the honey,
Yes, sir.
that's disastrous.
Definitely. Because,
Just imagine.
yes, sir.
Yeah. So and also, the real effect of these things may not be immediate. If it is immediate, of course,
Definitely. I mean,
you will
it's
know
not.
it. But if these effects are cumulative and long term, then it's a very, very, very sad story, and it will be bad for all of us.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah.
sir.
And also, there are so many pollutants, but we don't want to spend time on it. But the simple thing, if you protect the bees, you think about, especially the bambaras, the Royal College bambaras, just let them be, because there are so many plants around. If you look at the Google map, you can
Yes,
see still this country very green.
Definitely, sir.
Still, this so populous, congested Colombo, still a lot of green canopy. Now see, we are under a green canopy. So
Yes, sir.
get the point across.
Definitely,
Yeah.
sir.
We have a lot of things that we preserve it right now.
Definitely. Sir, with that, our time almost is coming to an end.
Yeah.
Could you please leave our viewers with one message, a parting message, so that they can remember and live by, so that they will also be able to contribute to the pollinator crisis and the like?
Yes, one message is you're not anybody outside the environment.
Definitely, sir.
You are an entity of the environment.
Yes, sir.
So think of yourself as part, a chain, a link of that environmental chain, and wherever you do your duty,
Definitely, sir.
you do your part to keep that environment intact.
Definitely, sir.
And remember, whatever the human activity, whatever the modern human activity, has more detrimental effects on the environment.
Yes, sir.
So, because we have been made to think, simply one can live in a high-rise building and a supermarket. No way.
No way. Yes, sir.
So, therefore, don't detach yourself from the environment. That's my message.
Definitely.
Don't detach yourself from the environment. I'm happy. I am visiting your college. I was not in your college.
Yes, sir.
Has more green now
Yes.
than when I saw this about. I suppose the last time I visited was I came for some kind of a ceremony or drama at Navaranghala.
Ah, yes.
And that time there were less restrictions. We could just walk through.
Uh-huh.
And Royal College definitely looks greener.
Thank you, sir.
But this is with the
yes, sir.
exclamation marks. But the little I saw was quite green.
Yes, sir.
quite
We
green.
are quite proud of the.
Yeah. No,
Yes,
planting a tree is not all that
Yes, sir.
appropriate. But be concerned with it
Definitely, sir.
and beautifying it, and that's important.
Be part of the environment and remember that you're always.
Remember, we cannot be detached from the environment.
Definitely.
If you are detached, you will be detached for some time, and everything will collapse. Everything will collapse.
Definitely, sir. Then,
So-
sir, thank you very much for being a part
I'm
of.
happy to be with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Especially young people. During my day, we never did that. We used to go for Ramadan and all that, but
Yes.
now you are taking it very positively. I'm very happy. We are leaving the country in good hands.
Thank you very much, sir.
So,
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.